What's good, y'all? You dub back at it once again. Bring y'all more fresh, new content. Here in 2019, we're going to be dealing with all kinds of concepts and things. Now, I've heard people talk about the Lantern Corps, okay? In case you don't know, I know most of y'all know about Green Lantern. There's other Lantern Corps. There's like 9 of them in total. 7 for what's called of the emotional spectrum, and 2 others life and death. We'll get into all that kind of stuff. But I've heard them. Now I'm gonna deal in DC Marvel later. I'm gonna deal literature. I'm gonna deal in all kinds of genres. Okay, movies and you name it. I'm gonna deal with all of these. And I heard now Just Robot give a shout out. He tried. I'll say I know I've seen Needle Mouse Productions. He's done some stuff. I've seen different people do some stuff. What I will say is Just Robot tried. He tried. And he chose, he did say what series he'd watched, and when he came to the anime manga, he's the first I've seen him try to attempt that, so he gets an effort. He gets a grade for an effort. I ain't gonna be too harsh on him. What grade, I'm not sure. But, Deku with willpower, he okay, and Broly grades. Everything else, no. No, it was a problem. So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm doing anime and manga, both. Both. Some of these will be characters from manga, other will be from anime and manga, and some maybe even anime exclusive. I don't know. Regardless, I'm gonna be dealing with each Lantern Corps, and every Lantern Corps except for the orange light of avarice of greed. All right, the orange Corps will have 6, and why 6? Because in the DC universe currently there are 6 Green Lanterns on the Earth. If we're not including Alan Scott, which because of DC Rebirth and the whole other foolishness. But there's 6, all right? Green Lantern Corps. And that's a good number. That's a good number. You need a core, all right? Entire core of lanterns, 6 is a good number. And we're not going to bog down with too many, but I'm going to tell you this right now, all right? Some of these was really difficult. The Blue Lantern Corps of Hope, that was ridiculously hard. Surprisingly, the White Lantern was ridiculously hard. And when I explain what each represents, even the Green Lantern, because I wanted to accurately depict who I think would be the best fits for these Lantern Corps members. And I just put people who just kind of had some kind of casual acquaintanceship with it. Some of these may surprise you. So without further ado, let's get in, of course, our old favorite, the Green Lantern Corps. Now, the Green Lantern Corps has power rings based on willpower. To keep things simple for those who are noobish and casual into DC Comics. There are many videos discussing what the Lanterns are more capable of. Now, the first person y'all know I had to pick was Son Goku. He's the first person that came to my mind. He was the person. Now, some could say Hope, and Hope is closely related, but let's be real. His willpower. We know his legendary willpower. He would be the captain of the squad. He inspired me as a kid. Okay? He inspired me to keep going. His whole journey is a journey of willpower. You don't get much better than Son Goku when it comes to that. He embodies that. Number 2, of course, is Straw Hat Monkey D. Luffy. Very closely related. To me, I think he would be the best, most creative user. If you see what he does with his Gomu Gomu no Mi, his Rubber Rubber Devil Fruit, he would be phenomenal. And he's got that Conqueror's Haki. His willpower has helped him make it through many, many intense situations. There's so many that I could bring up. If you know One Piece, you know what I'm talking about. The third person that came to my mind was Tyson Granger, the protagonist from the original Beyblade trilogy. That's right, Beyblade, V-Force, and Beyblade G Revolution. Tyson Granger, how he fights. I mean, he's intelligent and stuff, but he's got insane willpower. Even more willpower than Kai himself, than Ray, than Max. He embodies willpower to a T. When I watch it, and then when I went back and watched it as an adult, even more so than when I was a kid, he embodies it. And in the same vein, I thought of Dan Kuso, the protagonist from all 4 of the original Bakugan series. Bakugan Battle Brawls, Bakugan New Destroyer, Bakugan Gundalian Invaders, and Bakugan, I can never say it, Mechatanian or something, Surge, something like that. The 4 series. Anyways, Dan Kuso, he's a he's a gunner. Alright? He would be the Guy Gardner of this group, okay? Dan Kuso, he takes no quarter. He just goes for it. Balls to the wall. Alright? He just all in on it. Then these next couple took me a little bit of thought to think of. But then I came up, oh, of course, Rock Lee. Rock Lee, y'all know what Rock Lee be about, right? Y'all know Rock Lee, his whole thing. If I can't do 1,000 sit-ups, I'll do 100 push-ups. And Rock Lee embodied willpower. In fact, he wasn't supposed to fight again. He got healed up, and he still kept fighting. Rock Lee pushes himself. He can't use ninjutsu, but he pushes, and it's pure willpower, bro. And last but certainly not least, Yukihira Soma from Shokugeki no Soma, the protagonist. This dude's all about will. You can knock this dude, you can defeat this dude many times. He gonna still keep coming. He would kept challenging his pops, Joichiro. You know, he kept battling whoever. Anybody can get this work. He doesn't care. He's gonna keep fighting, come up with new stuff. He would be creative. Very, very creative. Now, to the Yellow Lantern Corps, also known as Fear. You know, some call it the Sinestro Corps, named after specifically Sinestro, but Yellow Lantern Corps. This one's dealing with fear. Those who can invoke fear, all right, get power off of fear. Maybe even power off their own fears. The first person that came to my mind, y'all know who he is, Frieza. Lord Frieza. Frieza is the perfect example. He epitomizes everything. He loves causing fear. He loves being sadistic. He thrives. He's almost like he gets an orgasmic thrill out of it. Getting fear and causing pain and suffering. I don't even need to talk too much about him. No, second person I thought of was the ogre, Hanma Yujiro from the Baki series. Right? The Baki series. The original big antagonist, the father of Hanma Baki, the protagonist. Love me some Yujiro, bro. Now, I almost put him in willpower. Almost did. But then I thought about it. The world's strongest creature. He causes respect. People around the world, government, like presidents of the United States pledge a vow to this man. He's worth at least a nation's military. This dude is on another level. He's on a whole other level. He embodies this. He would, if you give him the powering of fear too, oh no, he would be devastating with it. Absolutely devastating. Moving on. Kirin Ragyo, the mother of Kirin, Sasuke, and Matoi Ryuko from Kill La Kill, that Kill La Kill greatness. Love me some Kill Kill, second favorite anime of all time. Kirin Ragyo. Oh my gosh, this woman here was an absolute monster on all facets. And you can't think of very few better people to embody fear than this. In fact, she might get possessed by parallax. She that kind of person. Fourth person I thought of was Miyazawa Kiryu from the Tough series, the second sequel to Koko Tekiden Tough. All right, in this manga, Kiryu is the uncle, quote unquote uncle of, or one of the uncles of Miyazawa Kichi, the protagonist. Kiryu, this man is called a demon, a devil. Some call him evil in body, even though he ain't really evil. This causing fear is what he does. That's just Kiryu. He fits perfectly in this core. Coming over fifth. The man, the myth, the legend himself from Naruto. Uchiha Madara. If you know anything about Madara, you know that if he was given a ring of fear, do you understand the things he could do? The devastation he could cause? The fear he could invoke? Do you remember what he did when he showed up on the battlefield? Do you remember? Yeah, man. Shows up on the battlefield. Absolute monster. I remember in the anime there was one filler scene where the woman was literally praying. She was praying. This man was like a god amongst men. Right? Yeah, yeah. Man, this dude. He'd be like the Superboy Prime if he showed up. Oh my gosh. This core. Now I might have to go. I might have to look at overall after all this and see which core is coming out on top. But this core would be devastating, bro. And the last but not least, a character a lot of people don't know who ain't in the Dead too would not know the greatness of this psycho character, Mashiro Mai, an anti-villain of anti-villains. Dog, this character, she body bags folks. No qualms, killing folk. And she gets a smile on her face. She causes fear. That she she's sick and twisted, but in this world, she's good. Cause compared to her, there's a lot of screwed up. But yeah, Mashiro Man was perfect for this Lantern Corps. Now we get on to the Red Lanterns of Rage. Now those who know DC know Atrocitus. And, I'm just gonna let y'all know this. Brawly's not on this list. Brawly's not on this. I did not want to use that old movie version because I also found other people in Body Rage better. And I actually wanted more of the Lantern Corps to not be mindless zombies. More of this Lantern Corps, but to have a better shot to be in control like Atrocitus. If you know DC Comics. Go look it up. Atrocitus is a good character. Um, Starting with the embodiment of rage that I think of really when I think of anime and manga. I think of Eren Yeager from Shingeki no Kyojin / Attack on Titan. Eren Yeager, look at his Titan form, bro. What I'm supposed to do with that? What I'm supposed to do with that? Controlled rage is exactly what that Titan form is. I don't need to say anymore. That Titan form with a red lantern ring, bro. Bruh. Bruh. Devastating. Next up, Kamishiro Yu, the protagonist from Holy Land. Now, some may find this as an odd choice, but if you really know his character throughout that, there's at some point where this dude was just fighting for the hell of it. He was just beating dudes. And by the end, when he became an urban legend, like this dude was still on them night streets. Iwazawa Masaki, he got out. This dude stayed on the streets, fam, as a vigilante, just wrecking fools. What I'm supposed to do with that? That dude embodies rage very well. He would utilize the Red Lantern ring very effectively. Next up, this one shouldn't come too much as a shocker if you know Tokyo Ghoul. Kaneki Ken, the protagonist. This dude snapped. This dude got warped. And he became a pure savage. The young Don himself. Ridiculous, boy. Kaneki Ken was the truth, bro. My all-time favorite characters in anime and manga history. Next up is a shoe in, no doubt. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta throw him in. Oh, absolutely. Fleet Admiral Akainu Sakazuki. Now y'all know how the Red Dog gets down. Y'all seen him. If you know One Piece, you don't seen him. You've seen him. This dude, if you go against his absolute justice, he will body bag you, even if you were a supposed comrade. If you're on his side and you don't rocks with his values, you don't get that work. This dude comes through like a bat out of hell. He's another control rage, but you give him something like a power, red power. Oh, plus his whole magma thing goes along well with blood plasma being spewed. Next up, we have Guts from Berserk. Another shoe-in like Eren Yeager. When you think of rage, come on now, you think of Guts. You know his character. You don't really need to say much. The Black Swordsman. He has some of the all-time great rage faces. just look up Guts. Look up Guts rage faces, bro. Looking pure savage. Looking almost demonic. Which is ironic given the state of the Berserk series. And finally, to round out this last, I almost didn't want to put him in, but I'm like, because of his revenge state. You said, well, ain't there a lot of people that have revenge? He take it to the next level. Avilo Bruno slash Angelo Lagusa, the protagonist of 91 Days, sixth favorite anime of all time. If you've not seen 91 Days, I highly recommend this. It came out back in like 2016. It was either 2016 or 2017. Anyways, it is a straight gangster, literally a mob anime. It's phenomenal. And this protagonist has no chill whatsoever. Bodies, bro. And you can say, well, doesn't he plan things out? Yeah, because he's trying to take down the fucking mob. He's trying to take down the mobsters, bro. You gotta plan things out. But if you would have gave him a Rain Lantern ring, he running through folks. He running through folks. Oh, he would be. He may be the best user of the ring in this whole group, and that's saying something. Moving on to the Blue Lanterns of Hope. Now this was arguably the hardest. This one the White Lantern because this one was so hard, bro. It was so hard that I passed out taking a nap, came back and finished this one. This one was so hard, bro. This this lantern group because who embodies hope really? Yeah, so the Blue Lantern Corps of Hope. Okay, it its works most powerful in the presence of a Green Lantern ring, so it's really support as well as it boosts the ability of a Green Lantern. You could get doubly powerful. I remember Hal Jordan had combined, yeah, like Blue Lantern and Green Lantern. Became supercharged. It can nullify or neutralize to the degree of a lantern ring or cure it. Can combat like I believe the yellow lantern. Forget if it's orange, but yeah. So it can be powerful, but it's really more of an aid tool. And so the people who embody hope, first person came to my mind, and the one that stuck for a little while was Wendy from Fairy Tale. Now Wendy, she is always believing in not two in the guild and everything, and she keeps fighting. The little lady is like Thomas's train. I think I can. I think I can. Si se puede. Okay. Yes. Yes, we can. Um, she keeps on trucking, and you gotta give mad respect. Plus, she's great support, and I think she fits the role very well. After her, it took a while. It it took a while. I came up with. At first, I was like, I don't know if I won't put him in there. But then, if you think about it, his uber idealistic state, especially as a kid and whatnot, as a teenager, he's become more realistic as he's aged into an adult. But Uzumaki Naruto, even though he fights on his own, him in support and his showcasing of all the bijou within him and as a gateway, he embodies hope in a lot of ways. So I think he would fit, especially consider some think it's about willpower. I think he represents hope more so, and so him with a blue lantern, I could see him using it very effectively. I there is the blue and there is the uh, Rasengan and Rasen Shuriken and such. And so Naruto with that aiding the Shinobi lines, him fighting with like someone like Sasuke, I could see it being very effective. Um, moving on, the next person is a bit of a surprise choice. Now you would think he would belong to again a Green Lantern, but I put him in the Blue Lanterns. Kai. Now, but Kai and Tyson, the rivals, it's not really a shocker that these two would be in. These two fighting side by side would be absolutely monstrous. Okay, in a battle, if that was to happen in a War of the Light, in anime version. Next up, a good old character from Yu Yu Hakusho, Kurobar. Kurobar, if you really think about his character, he was a support guy. He was the hype man. He always believed more so. He fits perfectly in this Lantern Corps. Another person who fits surprisingly well in this Lantern Corps, but not so surprisingly if you understand his character and you know the series of Kuroko no Basket, Kuroko himself. Kuroko was a support man. He was the Phantom Six man. He was always encouraging his teammates, whether it be on Teiko or whether it be with uh not Sekire, Seiko. Sekio. Oh gosh, it's been too long since I've seen the series, but y'all know what I'm talking about. He was a support man to the Generation Miracles. He was a support man to Kagami Taiga. What more do I need to say? And last but certainly not least, finally got around to finishing a Magi Lines of Magic in the manga. Yeah, and Magi Labyrinth of Magic, my third favorite manga of all time, by the way. And in that, it becomes very explicitly aware, very obviously aware, should I say, that Alibaba is the signal of hope. He is the foundation of hope, especially the last final arc. My goodness, bro. Last final arc. And the way he is, he could actually apply to Black Lanterns, but no spoilers. Um, he embodies, and as the king's candidate of hope, I think he would end up being the leader of this team. Uh, thing he embodies it very well. Moving on to the Orange Lantern Corps. Now, the Orange Lantern Corps only has one lantern. Right? Orange Lantern is different from all the other Lantern Corps because the Orange Lantern Corps of avarice, you can say for greed. Everybody always says greed, right? And DC, you had Lord Fleece, who was a thief. Okay, he just had the solo power battery, and he was an absolute monster. Some say blue is the most powerful of the Lantern Corps, but some could argue that some argue maybe red, rage, but orange, oh my gosh, because it's one user. Instead of splitting it amongst other users, one user you can supercharge, and anyone you kill can become um a construct because they don't have a normal hard like constructs as people could. They don't have the normal, projections like how Jordan makes boxing gloves or wrenches or something like that, or Kyle Rayner makes or makes an airplane, or Kyle Rayner makes a mech suit or something, right? This people you've killed become your hard light constructs, hard light constructs become your images from your ring, and you can send them and do them, and you don't even have to be on the battlefield. And I thought about this, took a little bit of thought, and the person, the entity I thought of, like, oh yeah, from Tortico, final antagonist, final villain, Neo Demon Acacia, specifically Neo Demon Acacia. You don't see much more with Glutton. I was saying Glutton, and then I thought about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, Neo Demon Acacia, absolute monster amongst absolute monsters. This dude here, oh my gosh. And the way that he was, he didn't give a damn. He wanted all the smoke, all the food, all the power for himself. This dude was unbelievable. And if you gave him an orange lantern, especially all the beings he killed over his time, oh, no. When all throughout Neo's 5 billion years, oh, you're talking about absolutely disgusting base form giving that? Oh no. Next up, we move to the Indigo Tribe of Compassion. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I did a little tweaking to these rules because a lot of the Indigo Tribe are force fed as like the worst villains, and they're made into it, or people with great compassion. I most of the people on this list that I put in Indigo Tribe could feel compassion because they're past. They're on the compassion trail. Like that's their character growth, their character arc, how it relates to, and there are gonna be some surprises. The first one I thought of, and he'd probably be the captain, the first of this, either that or another dude. That he'd probably be the captain. Is Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. The greatness, the phenomenal story. If you know about Thorfinn, in case you don't, Thorfinn as a kid got caught up, his pops was murdered in front of him, really assassinated. And then, he began revenge plot, and he became a monster. But as he aged, And as an adult, man, he's trying not to kill anymore. He don't want to kill anymore. And so it's kind of that. I think the compassion ring would bond to him well. As he's trying to, you know, be forgiven for his past sins. Plus, we've seen scenes where he's already mentally and spiritually tormented by all the people he's killed in wars and stuff. So, thought that would be accurate. The next one here's a big surprise: Vegeta. And the reason I picked Vegeta is because you look at Vegeta's past and you look at him now. He's not the most compassionate person, but at least he appears not to be. Because see, compassion is not the same as outward love. Compassion is that he cares, and you can see that he's begun to care heavily for his family, future Trunks, uh, various people. You see Saint Kaba and all that. Compassion is a big driving force at this point for Vegeta's character in Dragon Ball Super, and that's something that a lot of people miss. They say he had reduced. No, it's just that he's evolved as a person, as a man. So I think Vegeta would be a adequate candidate in this Indigo trial. Third up, Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. Another maybe big surprise, but again, we're talking about Hiei, who we saw like Vegeta. They had a similar character growth. So kind of like Vegeta, Hiei's growth. I think the compassion ring would bond to him very well. Probably the weakest of the bonds, all the people on this list, but I think it would be adequate. Fourth up, the embodiment, probably the most powerful of the Indigo tribe, would have to be Toki, the Compassion Fist. If you know Fist of the North Star, Toki was that dude. Now, he was never villainous, but he was that dude. And he was already powerful in his own right. He was that dude. I think he would be a great, if not the leader, he would back up Thorfinn and be a powerhouse with the ring. He'd probably be the most capable and skillful usage with the power of compassion. Next up, we have Gara. Now, Gara is a classic example of someone who's had that past, who was murderous and whatnot, kind of like Thorfinn in the compassion ring, especially as he is now, as he's gotten older. I think Thorfinn would be an excellent candidate. Um, and along the same lines where he's not too bad, but he's still got some questionable stuff about him that he has to deal with. And so the Indigo Drive would especially if it's a group like this would welcome him very well. He would understand. Toki would be like, yeah, it's all good. Thorfinn's like, I understand you, my brother. And last but not least, young man Killua Zoldyck from Hunter x Hunter, the Deuteragonist himself. And similar to these other guys, his character now, while he never did it quite as bad, coming from his assassin's background, he's learned compassion. He's learned how to care about other people and not just be a cold blooded killer. I mean, he never was fully like that, but you get my point if you know the series. In fact, he's shown compassion many times with Gon. He's stopped really unless he has to kill. You see his love for his brother, sister, Aluka. All right, craziness in there. You see how he ride or die for Gon. You see how he be throughout, and so I think he would make an adequate, very useful person to that core. Now, for the Star Sapphires of Love, just letting you know these are all females, and I think I only had a couple other females before this, but these are all females because of how the core is. It's love, but it's kind of more on the, especially if you know the creators were females. Like it is DC lore. That's all I gotta say. DC lore. But anyways, with this list, the first off is the obvious choice that everybody picks is Sailor Moon. I don't think I need to explain that really much. Secondly is Chi Chi, Son Goku's wife. You look at her, you know her entire story from early Dragon Ball on. She embodies love, everything that she does. I know she's a tiger mom and everything, but everything about her is love, love. She's right out. She that man. She never remarried. Son Goku died twice. She never remarried. She is dedicated to that man. She's dedicated to her kids. She is about that, man. And you got to respect that woman. And then she fell in love with Son Goku as a young boy, and then she went into a tournament to get her man. That's some Star Sapphire shit. Coming in next is Juvia with Gray, full buster. Come on now. She is the prime candidate. She might be the most powerful of them, or what she's definitely up there. Juvie is prime candidate for these obsessive tendencies of the Sapphire. Next up, Haruno Sakura. I don't think I need to say anything. If you know Naruto, you know how she was for Sasuke. Boy, she was thirsty. She was mad thirsty, bro. She was mad thirsty, fam. Like, damn. After her, I got Kumi from Hajime no Ippo, who likes, she got a weird, like, at first it was cool and dandy, but if you deep into the manga of Hajime no Ippo, Kumi, get her out of here, dog. Get her out of here. Get with the reporter chick. Even Itagaki's younger sister is a better candidate than her to be with Ippo, but be with Makinoshi Ippo, but Kumi definitely belongs in his core. And last but certainly not least, someone who popped in my mind, if you know One Piece, the Pirate Empress herself, Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock. The way her thing, once again, for Luffy, is similar to Hal Jordan with Carol Ferris. She definitely belongs in this core. Especially the whole, her type of love, absolutely belongs with this core. Now we getting to we wrapping this thing up really quickly now. We get to the White Lantern cores of life. Now the White Lantern core of life reflects all the other powers of all the other cores and across the emotional spectrum, which is why this was so damn difficult. I'm like, who reflects life very well? Then a few of the candidates, I was like, but who also could handle all and showcase all the emotions? Then I was able to narrow down and give me some of these other candidates. The first person I came up with was Makon Shoko Mako from that Kill La Kill greatness, son. Mako is my girl. I love me some Mako. I love me Mako. But she is always bubbly. She is who I consider the greatest side character of all time. She just exudes life. At first, she was the damsel in distress that Ryuko had to help many, many times. But then she became the strongest second jacket. She became the Fire Club president, Mako Shoko. I could see her using, and it would be a blast to see her have a power ring. It would be a blast. I could see her just doing all kinds of crazy White Lantern boxing gloves, a suit. Oh, Mako would be phenomenal as a White Lantern. The second one would probably be the Captain. All right, it's a good possibility. It's Aladdin, protagonist from Magi Lamp the Magic. This dude, especially as the series went on, as the series came to a close, all about life, saving folks, saving folks, saving folks. Alibaba was about saving folks, but he was the hopeful. Aladdin was looking like, but people, we need to get the white root and the black root. Like, let's save everybody and bring everybody together. That's what Aladdin was about. So he definitely could be about the life. Thirdly, this is where it really took some thought, but then I was like, you know what? Good old Sage of Six Paths, Usutsuki Hogoromo. Creation of life jutsu he passed was trying to apply Ninshu down to everybody on the planet and everything, or at least all the shinobi on the planet. He was trying to do some good things. You feel me? You see he got the creation of life jutsu. What more do I need to say about this man? He belongs in this core. Fourthly, a maybe surprise candidate, Kurapika Kurd is up in here. Now, the reason I picked him is more so for his control over the entire emotional spectrum. He could tap into everything. He could tap into everything. He could tap into rage. He could tap into compassion, definitely. He could tap into willpower. He could tap into fear. Because I was thinking about Kurapika with some of the other cores. I'm like, nah, he don't fit. He don't fit. He don't fit. Then I thought about it, like, wait, he embraces all of the emotional spectrum. As calculated as he is, he gets everything else in there. So it makes sense. Fifth, Urahara Kisuke. Maybe another surprise candidate, but then again, I was like, will any Bleach characters even make this list? But then I was like, oh yeah, Kisuke would be perfect. He'd be perfect because he, like Kurapika, has a complex, uh, character, and his mind would be able to deal properly and withstand it and manipulate all the emotional spectrum very effectively. And then last but not least, another strategist. This one, again with the entire manipulation of the emotional spectrum. Dazai Azama. Alright. Azamu, excuse me. Dazai Azamu. Dazai, that dude from Bungo Stray Dogs. Oh my god. If you never watched that greatest as Bungo Stray Dogs, you are asleep, son. You need to get on that series. Dazai is a dude, bro. And my dude Dalton watches this and he gets his point. He knows about Dazai, bro. Dazai would be an absolute monster with it. Be an absolute monster with it. But we move on to the final Lantern Corps, which is the Black Lantern Corps of Death. Yeah, you all heard me. The Black Lantern Corps of Death, ladies and gentlemen. Now, normally, it's really if you died and came back to life, it's corpse kind of shit. With Necron being the embodiment of death to a degree in DC, it gets crazy with these different embodiments. But this one, I thought about, all right, who died as well as who represents death. All right, so first person that came to my mind. Now you would think this character represents rage, but he's not really rageful. It's Kid Buu. Kid Buu died. Remember, Oob was reincarnated. But Kid Buu, come on, he was dropping bodies across the galaxy, across the universe. He didn't care. He get to in his rampage in order to get Son Goku and Vegeta. They weren't there. Boom, planet gone. Boom, planet gone. Boom, planet gone. Dog, he had a record. He's a primordial force, seemingly, or magical force, whatever he's the case. He had a record in the past. The Supreme Council, like, we can't let this happen. And even the elder guy's like, yeah, he's the most dangerous. He's not the most powerful, but he represents pure evil and chaos. He embodies that, and he finds joy out of harm and killing folk, like the sadistic, sociopathic. All right, people always mindless. He ain't mindless. He's just simple. He's simple. He's a kid. And he loves wrecking shop. And he would bring great death to Necron. All hail Necron. That's Kid Buu for you. Next up, who I always affectionately say the immortal death god himself, Zareth. Zareth couldn't, yes, he had immortality, but come on, bro. Zareth's whole thing was about death. I can see him being the William Hand of this core. Now, for those who don't know, William Hand, I believe it was William Hand. He was the one who helped bring Necron and helped the Black Lantern Corps do its thing. Okay, so he would be a beautiful medium. Next up, Orochimaru, the obsession of life, of escaping death, but he be like dying. Like he be staying around, but he pretty much be dying. Orochimaru, come on now, this is an obvious shoe-in fit. The fourth one I picked, God was able to get another bleaching character in here. Juha Bak. Why Juha Bak? Juha Bak's like, yo, we're gonna erase Soul Society and all that and remake it in my image. Dropping bodies, son, and doesn't care as long as he gets his way. Representing death very well to surprisingly the Shinigami Death Reapers. Fifth up, we got Elder David. Now, Elder David, number one, he fits his criteria doubly because number one, he did die. He died. Secondly, Elder David, spoilers, I suppose, at the end of the series, yeah, he was trying to destroy everything on multiple worlds to bring it all to El Elah and rearranging his name. Yeah, Elder David about that death life. Let's just put it clear and simple. And finishing it off this list, good old had to get a JoJo's character in here. Dio Brando. Dio! Everybody's favorite villain, right? Gotta love Dio. Dio, come on, bro. This dude here, man. And with his stanza, though, plus a ring, plus him being a vampire, he'd be devastated. He'd be devastated. Dio has died. I believe, what, once or twice? Whatever. Like, Dio monster, bro. Dio monster, and him belonging in his core is very fitting. Now, looking at this, how would these cores do? Star Sapphires probably the weakest, honestly, from this group of collection. They be powerful, but these other cores got some members who are very problematic. Red Lantern Core probably coming in as the second bottom, honestly, from what I'm looking at. You got some hitters in here, and you got some very effective, but it's just the matchup problems. Uh, Blue Lantern would help out Green, but Blue Lantern probably they would be the third weakest, honestly. Let's see. Then we get into let's see. Right above the Blue Lanterns. And this is my rank, and this is off the top of my dome from looking at my list. Probably the Indigo Tribe. I know Vegeta's a monster, and they got some monsters, but probably the Indigo Tribe. See, we got the Orange Lantern Corps, the Black Lantern Corps, and the Green Lantern Corps. Um, I think the Blue Lanterns, if they helped out the Green, would be awesome. But just individually ranking these cores and I'm thinking how they will work, the effectiveness and the stuff of the different ones. Um, Orange, I want to say is third because even though Neo Demon and Case would be an absolute monster, I think Black and the Green Lantern would be able to put him down because we saw what happened in Toriko. If you read Toriko, I think the Black Lantern Corps comes in second, and I do think the Green Lantern Corps, not because of bias, I do think Son Goku, Luffy, and type like their that core embodies willpower so well, and I think they will work so well as a team that it would be able to tangle with the other cores very effectively, especially if Blue can their aid at first. So those are my thoughts. Unexpected one, like, comment, subscribe. And I know this was a longer video, but y'all know how I get down. All right, y'all have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.